almost 3,000-strong SADC Rapid Response Force may be deployed to Mozambique to help combat Islamist insurgents in Cabo Delgado province. That's according to a proposal presented by military officials to the SADC Security Troika. A Troika meeting that was planned for today in Maputo was postponed because President Cyril Ramaphosa is attending or testifying at the state capture inquiry, and Botswana's President Mokgweetsi Masisi is in isolation due to COVID-19. Well, let's discuss these developments and these said proposals with Adriano Novunga from Mozambique Center for Democracy and Development. Adriano, good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday View. What do you make of these proposals that are reported to deploy such a force by SADC in northern Mozambique? It's not been finalized yet, we understand. The SADC Security Troika has postponed its meeting today in Maputo. But what's the sentiment about this possible deployment?
I think it represents a positive move. The report, of course, it demonstrates some misunderstanding of the situation, but as I've indicated, it's a positive move in that Mozambique, at a short period of time, it needs military stabilization in the region, but that must be in the framework of humanitarian support, protecting civilians, while at the very same time exploring opportunities for dialogue, for a solid solution to the situation, because the report focusing on military support alone, that might risk escalation the conflict.
Now, what has the reaction been like in Maputo, if any at all, that the SADC Security Troika that was supposed to meet today will no longer meet for valid reasons?
Well, there is a bit of disappointment, and also given the fact that the report was leaked before the meeting, people are not happy with that, and we are not happy. But we understand, and we, looking at the reasons why the summit was postponed, we hope it comes soon, because this is an important meeting. And while we have indicated that the Maputo government has been reluctant to accept regional support, but we also understand that for the sake of coherence of SADC as one bloc, Maputo must accept some form of important support from SADC.
Okay. Now, finally, Adriano, is there still appetite for dialogue? Because dialogue is now being mooted for the last few weeks, possible dialogue.
We see that SADC has a very important opportunity here to be relevant, to be useful. And we also see that the Maputo government looks at SADC as an important partner in addressing the situation in northern Mozambique. It will, of course, depend on what SADC has put in place and what Maputo government is willing to take. But as I've indicated, we are clearly sure that Maputo will accept some form of SADC support, because at the moment, it is SADC that has come up with a solid proposal in terms of supporting Maputo to address the situation in northern Mozambique.
And a military solution is not the only one that's required, as you say.
Indeed, indeed. What SADC is proposing, it must be within a larger framework, number one, of protecting civilians, protecting humanitarian support, because we understand that if that is not properly protected, some of the extremist acts can also start to target humanitarian works, and then that needs to be protected. But also, SADC indeed needs to come with this support, looking particularly the maritime area. That's where Mozambique is much more vulnerable, and we expect Maputo to accept some form of support in that angle. Again, in a larger context of dialogue, which must focus not only internationally, but domestically forces and stakeholders.
Thank you very much. Adriana Novunga, Executive Director there, Adriana Novunga of the Center for Democracy and Development in Maputo.